welcome to the PM Model Show. Here we are live with you for the next sort of half hour or so, talking all things kits and related. What's been going on at the PM store, what's new out, what we're expecting in, what's going out of stock, gossip, the usual stuff. A couple of bits to show you, the usual things that go on here. Anyway, you okay, Mr. Matt? How's it going?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, going really well. Yes,
good.
Yourself?
I'm fine, apart from we're going to need a canoe in a minute because it's raining a bit biblical here. So, But winter is definitely upon us. You're there fleeced up in about 12 layers.
I am. I've got my thermals on under here. It's absolutely Baltic up here today. After yesterday, it was like, what a difference a day makes sort of thing, because it was red hot yesterday.
That's it, as I say. Well, it's October tomorrow, so that's it. Officially, we're into autumn. The dark nights. So don't forget, stock up with all your stuff now, because let's face it, it's either going to be a lockdown or winter. In fact, it can't get any worse now, actually, is it?
Are they the same thing?
Well, this is it, absolutely.
They are in my world.
yeah, there's not a lot of difference to it, apart from obviously you're modelling in the dark.
Yes. Notice in the morning when I wake up it's dark.
Yes, that's it. I know. My other half, she goes to work in the dark, comes home in the dark. It's like being a mushroom.
Yeah.
Doesn't see daylight. So, yes. Anyway, lots of things been going on this week. Obviously, I've been checking out loads of reviews since we last spoke. We've had a review out every single day. And I'll forget time today. I'll get the Aces Hasegawa Reeboks of the 72nd Phantom. That's my plan to do today. This morning I've been a bit busy doing orders and the various things. But yesterday you had this fantastic little guy up with you. The long-awaited X-Wing Nut Wings Fokker, little Fokker. DR1 triplane.
And what a nice kit it is.
It is a very, very nice kit. I've got a bigger picture here.
Yeah.
You can see it just down in there. Again, it's one of those ones where obviously because it's Wing Nut Wings, you're almost expecting it to be still Wing Nut Wings, isn't it? With just Meng written on it, but actually it's not. There's a few obviously little subtle changes down in there. The biggest one, I suppose, straight out of the box is the instructions, which if I run little VT here, if I just mute that, and you don't need to see me, get rid of the adverts. Hold on, where is it? It'll be down here. Here they are. So as you can see down there, the instructions are quite Wing Nut Wings-esque, but not quite as good. They're not as highly detailed, perhaps. It's quite nice there in full colour, though.
Yes.
Which was a nice little touch with it. But sometimes with Wing Nut Wings, you used to get very nice different views of angles of showing how parts go in, because let's face it, it can be quite complicated internally with all the beautiful detail they put in. So they have done it, like in there, you can see it's talking about the harnesses, the way they go through the seats, things like that as well. But generally, it was just one of those things. I was almost expecting to still find a Wing Nut Wings manual in there. That comes out, and it is funny because now they're doing these cards. Have you seen them? Have you seen any of the reviews? Because they look great because it looks like they go in a folder, but obviously only one card is in English. Well, not even one card's in English. The rest of it's in Chinglese and whatever countries all around the world are in there in all the different versions. So it's only got a little bit. So again, I'm thinking, really, is that a point? Isn't that a little bit waste of money? I'd rather the money went from that into the instructions, so that was a little bit in there. But again, you got nice little touches in there. So you've got things where you can do this shroud around the guns, obviously in brass, in photo etch, or you can just keep with the plastic. So if you're not very good at bending round tubes, which can be a pain in the arse, it's fine to do it. And also there was a couple of little bits of flash on there, which again, you would never, I think, have seen with Wing Nut Wings.
But it's very not Meng either.
No, that's it. It is definitely a hybrid between the two.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those where it's not Meng, and it's definitely not Wing Nut Wings because it's just not quite as refined as it would have been. But that said, I have to say, you'll see it in a second, some of the details on there I've never seen before, and that's what I get quite excited. And I know I get excited about a lot of things. I'm getting old, clearly. But one of the things is that they've done a stress skinned effect over the wings.
Yes.
So the texture of it, if I just fast forward to it, hold on, here we go. So what I mean is the texture across the actual, where it's stretched, is actually polished, so it's very glossy, the actual plastic. But the back side of it, if I catch it in the light a little bit better, you probably see it across the top here where it's actually under tension. It's basically gloss. Where it's actually not under tension on the rear edges, it's almost got a texture.
Yeah.
It's almost got a physical texture to it, like a grittiness. It's like an anti-slip surface almost, where it's the difference. So the stretch bits have got it even in there. So instead of it just being the shape of, it's actually got the texture in the plastic, which is definitely not Meng. That's a wing nut wings type thing going on there and stuff like that, as you can see, going right the way through it. And again, this thing of wing nut wings definitely doing the one piece wings. It's not like two halves that go together or anything else like that. So, you know, from that point of view, you know what you're getting into, you know what you're going to have. It's just that there is just the odd tiny little bit of flash on there, which I've never seen on a wing nut wings kit. So my point is, I was just wondering, at what stage did wing nut wings take over? Did they leave it? And when did Meng take it on? Because it's almost like it wasn't totally finished by Wing Nut Wings, and then, as you say, it just went on a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So interesting things on there. Like, we've got ejector pins coming up in a minute, and I'll point them out. And it's like, don't think you would have seen that with a Wing Nut Wings. But as I say, I've only built sort of 2 or 3 now Wing Nut Wings kits. But it's just these little things, like seeing ejector pins on things. It's just, normally you would never see one full stop. But the details are beautiful. You can see that texture underneath again.
Yeah.
It's got the fabric texture into it, which is really very, very nice, and all the rest of it.
We were talking, we had a chat about it yesterday, didn't we? We were talking about price point from obviously the cost of the Meng kit to what it would have been if it was Wing Nut Wings, and we were wondering what the price difference would have been, because obviously then you've got a different box. Obviously the instructions are a lot more complex and, you know, informative.
Yes.
And obviously, like you say, with the injector pin marks and stuff, you know, it's all going to be cost related, because I mean, that version's 60, 70 quid, is it?
Yeah.
The other one with the bust is 90, give or take.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, what the price point would have been if it would be a Wing Nut
Wings in the UK would have been 100 quid starting, wouldn't it? Really, I would have thought.
I would have thought so. Been around that 95, because it's not a massive aircraft, is it? So
no.
Going by the previous releases and stuff, but
that's one little area just there, just to point it out. That's what I'm showing. Obviously, they've been back in and they've retooled around the mould area. You can see on these scraped ones. Yeah. So obviously, that's to take down that ejector pin and all the rest of it. I haven't seen that sort of clean-up work on a Wing Nut Wings mould ever. No. You know, and stuff like that. So that was one of those little things where you're looking at it and you're thinking, that's not Wing Nut Wings, because they would not have that type of effect on there. Whereas obviously, you know, they have. And again, it was just those little things. Normally, from a reviewing point of view, you look at a Wing Nut Wings kit, it's really hard to find a fault anyway. And I'm looking because, you know, that's what I do. So I'm looking at the parts and you're like, it's a Wing Nut Wings kit. Really, what can you say? It is fantastic. It is glorious. It is going to be beautiful. So it's just, let's have a look at what you get. But obviously, when we're looking at this particular kit and going through the motions of it, you're just seeing these little things coming out. But again, I think in some ways you're spoilt with Wing Nut Wings, because they were that top 1% of model kits which produce beautiful stuff, incredible detail, and again, from a modelling point of view, you know, a joy to build, because they go together so well. But here we are now, you're seeing that thing where the price point is obviously a little bit lower now, and stuff like that. So you're seeing just on these ones, there's a little bit of flash here, there and everywhere on them, and it's like some of the crispness I don't think quite is up to that standard. But again, each manufacturer has their, you know, they're obviously where they'll go to. Meng, I still rate them as high as anybody else is. They still do fantastic work in. But again, you know, we can see it in here. You've got these little bits of flash on those bottoms down in here, which originally I'm looking at thinking, are they? The one is here. There's a very, very shallow ejector pin down on there, which I've never seen the ejector pin on a part. But this is one of those areas that you'll never know. It may have been, you know, there it is again on the bottom under there. It may have been Wing Nut Wings was going to be like that. You'll never know. That would be the thing. Until you would have ever had, this is the Wing Nut Wings release, this is the main version of it, and do a side-by-side comparison. This is one of those areas you'll never know. You know?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the flip side of it is
history now.
It's out, isn't it?
Yes.
Because otherwise, I think the only other one is a Rodin kit.
Yeah.
For the triplane. So I suppose the other way is to be thankful that it has been released and it's not just gone, you know,
absolutely,
and we've never seen it. So
absolutely, and to be honest with you, that was my statement with the review, you can go off and see the review, I'll link it down below, or it was up yesterday, is that, you know, at least we've got it, because obviously Wingnut Wings were putting quite a lot of weight behind this release.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the demise of Wingnut Wings and the way it happened as well, we don't need to go over again, was truly awful. We thought we would never see this, and there was a lot of people out there telling us, insiders, saying you will never see this kit. Because the molds have gone into, you know, a warehouse and they will never be seen again, and Peter Jackson doesn't need the money, so and that's it. He's just mothballed everything. So a lot of people said we would never see this kit, and the great thing is we've seen it, 2 versions of it really, with the bust as well, and the bust is a beautiful touch. It's really very nice.
Yeah,
you showed us that one the other night.
Yeah, I think and initially it didn't look great, I think.
No.
From the pictures, and that's a normal, you know, it's a thing from pictures to actually physically having the item in your hand.
Yeah.
And when I looked at it, because I obviously had one last Thursday, because that's when they came in, so I thought, well, while I'm on Thursday's show, we'll show one off, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The bust is fantastic. It's a lovely sculpt, really nice sculpt. So if that's your thing, it's worth having one of them as a collector's, because probably that's going to be gone.
Yes, yeah.
And obviously this version will be around for a little bit, so you know, it's going to be a few years, I would have thought.
Yeah.
I've not known men retire one of their aircraft yet, I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
You can still get them all, pretty much.
Yeah.
So who knows? But anyway, yeah. It's I'll take some pictures, because I ain't got one here that's thingy, but I will take some pictures and pass them, and then Phil put them on with the bust. It's still in raw resin. I've not primed it or sprayed, you know, put any paint on it. But yeah, it's lovely, really nice.
Very, very nice. But again, it's, you know, the closing argument really is to this. We've got one. That's the nice thing about it. We've got a good, high quality. Yeah. And again, it is this thing, and I say it in the review, out of, you know, a certain generation. All right, the younger generation probably might not have hold of old Manfred von Richthofen and the, you know, as I say, the red. You know, triplane and all the rest of it. But from our era, we grew up on this, wasn't it? It was that was it.
That and the Sopwith Camel are the World War One planes, and then obviously there's a few others, but it was the Fokker triplane and the Sopwith Camel was the main
absolutely.
One that
was them. So, you know, and it was always seen as the, you know, the sort of the enemy in red. That was. You know, that was literally
it's iconic, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. And it was really a crying shame we didn't have a nice kit of it until now, you know? So, you know, and that is the thing. At the end of the day, it was literally... Let me just stop that, otherwise it would be playing to myself. But again, it's one of those things where, as you say, such an iconic aircraft's taken so long to come out.
It's odd they didn't do it before. Whether it was because the Rodin one was out and it was that sort of, we'll wait, or whatever... You know, you'll never know, and we'll never know. But to me, it's like we said about the Spitfire thing, isn't it? With them, if you just get your cash cow, trade off that one, and then you can do all your obscure bits or wherever you want to go with it. But you need obviously to turn over. You need a turnover of kits, don't you? And obviously the Camel, the triplane, the SE5A, probably the Albatross are the main 4 that most people will know. You know, if they're into the World War One and aircraft, and that one's just been the Camel only came out a couple of years ago. Let's be fair, that was late to the party, wasn't it? Yeah, no, we
built that one. They've actually got a full build on that one. And you think the triplane came the Sopwith triplane came out before the Camel did.
Yep.
And it was like, what is that about? You know, it's odd way of doing it, which is what we said. I think that was the demise of Wingnut Wings, because they had a funny release thing, the way they were doing it.
I suppose, though, it's a bit, you know, if Peter Jackson was running the company and it was what he were interested in, perhaps he's a bit like some people, it's a Spitfire, I'm not, you know,
don't want to go down
iconic it's a Spitfire, it's a 109, it's blah-de-blah. We'll release it, but we'll do it later because I like this one better or this one, and that's where we wanted to. We'll never know, unless we ever get an interview with him, we'll never know what the thought process was, but...
No.
You know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. At least it's here.
Yes, absolutely. So this one here is $67.99.
Yep.
We've got it up on the site here. Okay, and then we've got the other version, which obviously comes with the figure, which is $87.99 as well. So again, it's quite nice to, as you say, get them at last, which is the main thing, isn't it? I think it's a long due aircraft. Again, we've been speaking about it over the last, we've been doing these shows for the last 10 years, and it's sometimes we talk about aircraft and where are they, and finally here they are making their way through and stuff like that. So it is not being no disrespect to Roden. You're going to build that one, aren't you? Because the Roden
you are now.
Going to be a little bit of a handful.
More builder friendly, I think.
Yes,
shall I say. And actually, for aircraft, I'm not really interested in. To be honest, I'm actually really tempted to have a blast at it.
I think you should. Yes.
I know Nathan's got one as well, and he's very likes his Manfred von Richthofen, shall we say?
Yes.
So he'll do the red one, and I was obviously thinking of doing one of the, tie-dye ones, really. I don't know how else to describe it, but one of the tie-dye options, because I think they look brilliant, but I think you'll need a decal set for it, because you won't be able to pull that off with paint,
no.
I wouldn't anyway. My skills aren't to that level of pulling that off in a convincing fashion. But I know Aviatic, did we discuss of
they've done a
set
sheet,
of decals out, which is for the Roden kit. So I don't know if it just goes on sheet. I don't know if that's just a sheet and you
cut it to what you want, like wallpaper.
I don't. I'll have to look more into it, but it's a tempting aircraft to do. I think look quite striking as well on the table. Whenever
I think it will do, absolutely. So if we ever do model shows, it's going to be full of triplanes, is it? The Luftwaffe SIG.
The Luftwaffe SIG will be the flying circus, literally. I think.
Yeah, literally.
Triplanes. I tell you what, Andy's got one as well.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Knowing Andy, it might take him a while, but he will get there.
Yeah. So that's one of the new that came in last week, obviously on a pre-order. While we're on pre-orders, tornadoes. Let's talk tornadoes.
Yes.
They're doing tomorrow.
Right.
100%. I've had a confirmation. They've been dispatched, and they'll be here tomorrow. So.
Cool.
At last.
Yes. Let's face it. They have been slightly delayed.
Yes.
But
not through us either, not our fault.
No, not just us. A lot of people. I know some companies got them and then were putting them up and all the rest of it. But as I say, we got there eventually. So whoever put them in the wrong place, I'm sure they've been strapped to a pallet and sent somewhere.
I released them early. So the tornadoes are in tomorrow. So Andy will be on it, invoicing and usual stuff. Also on pre-orders, the Edard Trophy Pack Spitfire Mark 1. And the MiG-19 that we had up on pre-order, which was a very short pre-order, it has been released and are on order, and hopefully will be here by the end of the week.
Very good. Excellent.
So, again, I think Andy's going to start invoicing because he's going to have a lot of invoicing to do, to say the least, this back end of this week. So, Also, F-117's Tamiya.
Yes, the Nighthawk. Cool.
So that's another special order that we're having out of Japan.
Yeah, so this is the big 1/48 scale one. There's a video build on that as well.
That is doing today on a delivery. So I have put those back into stock. So if anybody's interested, we missed out last time that we had them. We've got another 12, I think there is, because they only come in cartons of 12. So we've got a carton of them. So if you want one of them, go and grab one. Cool. So just again, while we're on deliveries for today, because I think, we just said while recording this, it's surprised I ain't had one yet, but... is Mr. Hobby's doing today. So thinner, what the thinners and everything, and Abtil 502 oil paint restocks and some other AK products are doing as well on the delivery today.
Cool. Could you put us back 2 bottles of self-leveling thinners, because that's all I've got.
I'll do my best.
That's it. I got a dribble in the bottom. Is that literally all I have. Yeah.
So
we're a little bit low on that, to say the least.
Yeah. So it'll be all go, shall we say, to get it. We'll get all back in stock, and probably be tomorrow, I think now. But I'll get it all back in stock, and anybody who's on a wait list will get a message and usual stuff. So all good.
Cool, very good. So the other thing as well we've had in this week is obviously the ICM fire truck, which I do believe you got one now.
I have, got it.
Which again,
so this is the Chernobyl one.
If you don't know, me and Matt are very much into these vehicles. One day, my friend, we'll have one.
We need a real one, don't we?
We want a real one. Yeah.
Run round in.
So we do like these. So this is obviously part of the Chernobyl set that ICM have been doing with all the different vehicles that were involved in it, right the way down to the personnel as well. So you've got obviously the rubble cleaners, or the liquidators, weren't they? Yeah, got decontamination checkpoints. You can get, I'm not being funny. If a model shows ever get going again, one day I'm going to walk around the corner and somebody's going to do a massive diorama with it all on.
Yeah.
It's going to have the Chernobyl diorama. So again, that's a fantastic kit. That again, if I could be very tempted to do that. Because again, it's that crossover. It's got good colours. It's not just like military and it's green or something.
Yeah.
With the red and the white, you could actually do a lot. And because it's Russian, it's beaten up slightly. So it's going to be worn.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially being there.
You could actually do one of the abandoned ones that's just stuck. Yeah. That's rotting away in a field because nobody can near it because it's,
that's
nuclear active,
Absolutely.
Basically. Or radioactive, should I say.
Radioactive. So, very nice. Very nice bit of kit, that, I must admit.
That's interesting. I like that as well. I'm with you. I'm quite into my Russian trucks and like the Zills.
Yeah, I do as well. As I say, I've got a couple of them here and they keep winking at me and I'm like, must get round to doing one.
But something else that's come in, I just think this is another brilliant thing from Mini Art, is a tractor, a German tractor.
Again, it's so odd, it's brilliant. You know?
Yeah.
Look, it's got steel wheels.
You could absolutely, if you're into your weathering and all that, you could go to town with this. You could, from whatever stage. But I have actually seen them where they pull in trailers with soldiers sat on the back of like a cart, basically. What it would have, a hay cart or whatever. See, diorama potential as well is. Again,
absolutely. As I say, the great thing with that is you've got one of those things. You could just do a tiny little plinth with it, a little diorette. Yeah. And it would look amazing, or you could put it part as a diorama or standalone. Yeah. But again, because it is so odd, it's good.
It's interesting.
It's really interesting subject. It's one of those things where if you was to take it to a show, or even if you've got it on its shelf or you're working on it, if people see a tank or a plane, it's a tank and a plane. But you got that's like a talking point. It's like, what the hell is that? So I like it. I think it's really, really nice job on that one.
Yeah, I know Mini Art, it'll be very detailed. It's not a massive box either, but I'm just said, it's just interesting. It's an interesting release, and
it is.
Long live Mini Art.
Yeah, they do some really good stuff, including pigeons.
There you go. You could have a pigeon sitting on it.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. You might have a few left over from the 24 you get in the set.
Yeah. There you go.
Right, go on then. Show the cool one.
Oh, we've got the cool one. Sorry, I'll pick it. Here we go. There's another one. I'll be bringing this down because if anybody don't know, all being well.
Yes, subject to change, just in case things do change. But
we get locked down up here, or you do down there. I'll be down at Phil's next week from Wednesday morning. I'm going down, so I'll be doing the show with him down there next week. Thursday,
we'll
I'm
be
back
socially
Friday.
distanced across here.
Yeah, well, we will. We'll be opposite, obviously distancing, but yeah. So just to let everybody know, as of Wednesday morning next week, I won't be here. So nothing will be sort of processed until I'm back probably Saturday morning. I think I'll have to probably come in Saturday. We'll see. Yeah. So just a heads up anyway. But yes, I'll be bringing this down for him to review, and probably a couple of other items as well we've got in. Yeah. It's just cool. It's a mini Kamaz, isn't it?
It is. It's just because it's got a turret on it as well. It's like, how do you make that thing cooler? Stick a turret on it. It's like brilliant.
It's just me.
It's a cool vehicle, and how do you make a cool vehicle even cooler? Stick a freaking turret on it. It's just immense. Love it.
There you go. If you don't do a camo one, you can do just a plain green one.
Yeah, just do a plain green one. Yeah, weather it up. But no, really good looking vehicle.
Trouble parking that in your local supermarket car?
No,
would you?
That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. I was just going to leave it here and walk in disabled. Stick it diagonally in child and parent parking. They're never going to argue, are they?
Child, yeah. And then...
Yes.
A T34, another one. There seems to be a lot of T34s. Everybody does one, but obviously this is Mini Art's one. This is not the interior one either. This is just a normal one. Oh, there's Zvezda's.
Is that Zvezda's? Sorry, where's our one? Is it not in the store?
Yeah.
Where is it? I've lost it. Hold on. New arrivals.
It's there, look.
Oh, there it is. Sorry, I missed it. It didn't come in with the others. That's it. There we go.
To the tractor.
Tractor version.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, this is obviously plant 122 spring 44. So you can get very precise when you do T34s for whatever year, month, day, hour they were produced.
Yeah, that's it.
But it's an iconic tank, isn't it?
definitely.
So I like to see what Mini Art's done with it, to be honest. Obviously, ICM do one, like I say, the Revs to do one. I presume they're a lot more simplified than this. This is quite heavy, actually.
Yeah.
So, and even without the interior, it's going to be quite, if you like building, if we've had a discussion on the forum.
Yeah.
These are the kits for you, to be honest. Mini Art kits.
Mini Art, as I say, they have a very high part count, but also the detail in them is as fine as you're going to find anywhere. Again, I always say Mini Art almost gets overlooked. People don't think of Mini Art like I think they should. Mini Art bring out some really, really good stuff, some very odd stuff as well with some of their figure choices. We've all spoken about Sandra the hooker and the murderer, serial killer truck driver.
Hey, that's Masterbox. That's different company.
Oh, is that Masterbox? Sorry, I'm thinking Masterbox. Sorry, with Mini Art
like
do things like pigeons and
dioramas.
They do the trams.
The trams are Mini Art.
And
they are an intense build, but they look good when they do. And I think they do stuff that other companies wouldn't go near. I don't even think they'd think about doing them. And I think they've got their own niche. Got their own niche in the market, and they're good at it. And like I say, absolutely. I agree with you. I think they're a company that's really overlooked, and I think we need to champion them a bit more. We
should, definitely, because I say Mini Art do some really good detailed, moulding, and I know a lot of people are put off sometimes by the part count, because I've reviewed a lot of Mini Art. Go off and have a look, and you do. The boxes are solid.
That is.
You've got a Mini Art kit because literally they are big boxes and they are just full of plastic. But again, there you go. It's 48 quid. That it's not a ton of money really for a highly detailed type of vehicle. And again, the ones where they do full interiors as well with all the stuff that goes into it, it's not a shake and bake kit. It's something you're going to know when you finished it. And as I say, I think really they're quite a bargain for the amount of plastic that's involved with it as well. So definitely, we like Mini Art. They're a good company. It's very much overlooked.
Yes, absolutely agreed.
Cool. What else you got? Anything exciting?
Don't know. Go back to the store. Kind of thing. We've got some exciting news about the Blitz kits. That was it. That's where I was going to go. The Takum Blitz kits. I'm going to bring a couple of those down as well for filter review. Now, this is a parts count thing as well. We think obviously Takum have now probably learned that not everybody's into massive building times and would like a bit more, shall we say, a Tamiya-esque build.
Yes.
Less parts, get them together so you can get to your painting and weathering. And now they're producing the Blitz kits. So obviously there's a Stug there and a Panzer 3 and a Jag Tiger, is it? They're doing it at the minute.
Yeah. Sorry, that's the right field one. Sorry.
I feel Panzer 4.
I'm trying to do it off of the bottom things, but it's not working.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
you'll edit it all in.
Yeah, it'll be fine. No.
There's a Panzer 3. And they're going a bit down this road at the minute, I think, Takum. So again, if you're more of a painter and weatherer,
yes,
these are probably the kits for you. With less parts, bang them together. I think as well they've got link and length tracks, so they're not individual track links.
Yes,
which again can be the down things for building a tank, can't it? If you're not into doing
if you're not into doing your tracks, especially when they're like 10-piece per.
Yes.
Book. Yeah. It's like
They can be very time consuming. So. I think, like I say, they've gone down kind of the Tamiya way of designing them, so they're quicker to put together and stuff. But they've seemed very popular. So, so it seems a bit of an armour week this week for releases, really. Apart from the DR1, it's very armour related with what's come into the shop. So, next week could be cars or back to aircraft. I don't know. But what we did find, just going back to these future releases and stuff, is Takum are releasing a 72nd Yamamoto main turret.
True, which is going to be a lump.
That is going to be a lump. Yeah.
Because I say, they're not small guns on there. I'm not sure exactly how big it would work out, but I'm thinking it's going to be around about sort of 35, 40 centimetres with the barrels. So it's going to be a lump and a half, I would have thought.
It's going to be big. Because, we were on about one, me and John were on about last week's show, the 200th Yamamoto that I didn't even know existed. Yeah. And then, was it Fujimi do the turrets and the tower? Yeah. Separate for it to upgrade it, because it's an old kit, I think, from 1969, so obviously it's showing its age. And that's massive, obviously being 1/200 scale. But I remember the turrets on that weren't small, so I don't know. That is going to be big, because it was a big battleship. Wasn't it the biggest one?
I think it was. The Yamato was the biggest, because they scuttle it and use it as like a that was the plan. They were going to sink it and just use it as a battle, platform.
Yeah.
Because they knew full well if we went to see it, it'd get like hammered to hell, a bit like the Bismarck got, because it was so dodgy to let it out.
Yeah.
So that was the plan. So yes, there's lots of interesting things over there. But I did see the kit when they released it, say of like 1 to 200, and that is a monster. I know we joke about canoe size, so it literally is a huge thing. But as I say, it's quite nice in some ways because we've got that other company, isn't it, who do like the Seawiz system and like the missile ones, and it's quite nice having lumps of boats, because obviously ships are big things, so it's very difficult to do a detailed area unless you're going to scratch build. So I say 70-second turrets just off of the ship is quite nice because you can do, if you're into obviously your marine stuff like that, and naval stuff, it's quite nice that again you can work on something big, because normally you're working in 350th scale and 700th scale. It's all tiny. To be able to work on something big, it's like that Seawiz system that I did the review of, and obviously they do the missile version of it, and then they did the Russian version of it as well. It's nice to have a piece of equipment off of a ship that's of a good scale, so you can show it on its own. I think it's a nice piece, very, very nice piece.
It's got to be the weapons platform as well, isn't it? Really, that they're gonna. I'll be honest. I'm actually surprised that there's not been more carrier decks done, as in part of a carrier deck.
Yeah.
In 48 for 70-second, 30-second would be a bit big to be fair. But again, you could have a part of a carrier deck. I know
Skunkworks did one, didn't they? Which is old Kinetic did one. Did
a little bit and stuff, but I think you could probably, because that's just normally a flat piece of deck though, isn't it? Just put your plane on it. I was just wondering if they could do a little bit more with it.
I think really now we're seeing this sort of shift somewhat over the last few years now to doing bits of things. Obviously now we're seeing the front end of the Lancaster, obviously wings being, and stuff like that, which makes sense. If you haven't got the room for a 30-second scale Lancaster, you can just have the nose. But also it lends itself, you could do things perhaps with like U-boat, just do the conning tower in a good scale. I know
somebody has done it in 35th. There is one. I think it's resin though, but it's just the conning tower of,
which is a nice touch.
Whatever U-boat it is, and I think you get some. I think it was Andrea Miniatures did it. I don't know if it's still available. I think it might have been limited edition, but it was. And you got some figures that obviously was, looking for prey, if you want to call it that way. And I don't know if somebody else, sort of thing Trumpy'd do, innit?
Yeah, you can imagine them having a go at it. But I'm not being funny, with U-boats, they had their own artwork on the side of them as well and stuff like that. You think they could do a series of those, quite nicely done like that. When, as I say, subs, they've all got different shapes and types of conning towers and stuff like that. So you could do it without doing the entire thing. And again, it works with other stuff. I know, or I was made aware of a few years ago about a company were thinking of releasing bits of a Lancaster. I think it was in 1/12 scale. So they were going to do like the tail end, just the rear turret, and they were going to do a front turret, and there was discussion of them about obviously doing just the cockpit section, and then obviously things like that. And then I know, because I was talking to the guys behind it, there was talk about them perhaps doing a limited edition so you could put it all together and have a whole one, but it would technically, you would buy it all in sections to be able to do that. And it was so obviously like the engines and the various things to it. So you if you wanted to, you'd have a very highly detailed parts of in 12th scale and running through. But there was talk, because I'd said jokingly, so what you're going to have another kit then that brings it all together. You have a huge one, and they were like, well, it's an idea we're playing with, and I was like, I was joking because but again.
But the other thing is, like obviously we've got the F104 cockpit. And this was obviously from Esky in the 80s, because they did the F-16. How come nothing's been sort of elaborated on that? A Spitfire cockpit or a 109 or a P-51 or wherever you're going? Because obviously the cockpit, again, is...
Again, we've seen some bits in resin, haven't we? What's the company who does the resin one? Because also they do like the B-17, isn't it? With the guy with the 50 cal, and it's like half the cockpit side. That's quite a large one, isn't it? I can't remember the company, but there's a resin company behind it who are doing that. I think they did a Spitfire as well, with just the cockpit area, and there was talk about them doing a 109 as well, with obviously famous pilots, and that's the point of it. It's more of a figure painting exercise than a kit building one. But again, it's quite an interesting thing to get into those different subjects, you know, and
Yeah, like
again, you know, especially for people who, you know, let's face it, I've spoken about it a lot, obviously bigger models that have got nowhere to put them, you can have a large quality, large scale, good detail, just part of it, and just have a section of like cockpits and stuff and front ends of, and you know, we spoke about it when obviously Wingnut Wings initially were mentioned about doing the front end of the Lancaster, and obviously as we now know that Hong Kong Hobbies have released theirs. You know, how you could do lots of bombers, you know, in that, and just do the front ends with them, and you could upscale slightly and have more of a, you know, a one into it and just do that type of thing.
Well, I was thinking sort of, because I think the F104s 112 and the old F60 are they about 112 scale?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I know I've got one down here, but again, like I say, you could do it in that scale because it's not massive, but you've got the detail. Because I mean, to be fair, when you build an aircraft, me personally, I like doing the cockpit.
Yeah.
But it's one of them. You could put a lot of time and effort into it. Say if you do 48, and never see it again.
No.
Because they are so tight and confined in there. So if you go, obviously, if you're going up to 1/12 scale, you've got more to see, shall we say? You know.
This is it. And it's a bit like, you know, not being funny, Ed, they released the quarter scale instrument panel, wasn't it, out of the 110?
Yes.
You know, again, you know, that was quite a sought after thing at one point, but never really did anymore. So I can only assume perhaps it was a bit of a damp squid from the sales department.
Well, that's it. Obviously, you know, from people producing it, they've got to sell the unit. So perhaps it's not a bigger market, obviously, as a full aircraft. But
well, it's a bit like, you change the subject slightly. We've got them in the store, haven't we? We've got the shells, the 1-to-1 scale shells.
Yes.
You know, I think we've got them in new arrivals still, haven't we? Yeah, there we go. So we've got is it the pig model ones?
Yeah.
These are the 1-to-1 scale shells, which are, you know, not many parts to it. But again, it's something that's quite interesting. It's say 65 quid like that. It's an interesting thing to do. We had the question about it, was on my show yesterday, about how would you paint it. And I mentioned about actually I'd probably wrap it, give it a foil wrap in brass and do it that way. So it's got that more better look to it instead of looking quite fake. Because again, trouble is when you get to 1-to-1 scale, you're looking for 1-to-1 scale weathering almost, and reflections to them and stuff like that, and it's a difficult thing. It's easy when it's this big to recreate and give it that pantomime look and perhaps overdo the weathering to show it, but when it's 1-to-1, you sort of chips you suddenly, everything changes a little bit how you're going to do it. And again, that's what the question was about the shell, and I did say that I would probably like do like a form of bare metal foil with brass, and that way you can polish it, or as you say, you even do it with a buffable type paint so you can polish it and all the rest of it, because otherwise, like, not being funny, that one there looks dead because it's obviously been sprayed brassy colour, but there's no reflection to it, and obviously it is metal. Even just being in the racks, they scratch, and you know they've got that look to them, you know, and they wear and have points and stuff like that. So yeah, again, it's one of those ones that it's a whole different form of modelling in a lot of ways when you start doing replicas and props. You know, and when you're trying to get big things look like metal and stuff like that, again, it's a different art form and a different way of doing it in a lot of ways, but interesting nevertheless. Definitely an interesting, as I say, like that as well. I think it's brilliant. I'll probably build one at one point.
Well, I'll bring in you one down anyway.
Bring us one down and we can have a play with it next week.
Say you want the Tiger 1 or a Tiger 2?
I don't know. Whatever we've got a lot of.
All right. So, I'll bring you one down then next week. So, but you've just hit nail on the head because that is a prop.
It goes with me £25 up.
Yeah, there you go.
Just need the end of it.
You need to get it polished up like that, look.
Yeah, I say I'll get me mum on it with the brasso.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting things. And speaking of which, I'll tell you what I have got here, which we can have a quick look at. Yep. This is one of the new look ones by Edard. Sorry, I just need to change my camera to a close camera. If we do that and then we go to there for full screen. Yeah, this is one of their new looks. So this is one of the, if we whip it out, I haven't even taken out the packet yet, as you can see. Look, a live unboxing.
Yeah.
If I can get in. See, look. It's not as bad as me trying to get the staples out of that kit yesterday in the review. Stuck one through my thumb on Friday. So, anyway, so this is it. This is one of these new looks. So again, it's as you can probably see, it's actually a resin print off of it. because it's got those lines. So Andy does his. Do you know what he calls his printing? It's got a special name, isn't it?
I can't
don't know. But anyway, you can probably see it, catch it in the light, that the dials are all glassified as well, so it's all pre-done and pre-printed. And then the idea being, as you can see here, it's just a drop-in replacement into the kit. And away you go. But we've all seen obviously colour photo etch, and the trouble with colour photo etch, it's a little bit two dimensional. And again, this isn't probably the best one to look at because by its nature the cockpit is black anyway. I'll tell you what, I'll push my luck with that top camera. Let's just see how macro we can go, because it's not in macro mode, that's the problem, so it might struggle a little bit. But again, you can hopefully see the details are absolutely beautiful inside it.
Yeah, you can see that perfect.
But it's one of those ones where because it's got a little bit thicker, it's just got a little bit more three-dimensional. So the bezels are a little bit nicer, and obviously this centre for the centre 6 is raised compared to the rest of it, and stuff like that. So again, that's quite a nice little touch with that. And it seems to be the new way of doing it, isn't it? That a lot of these companies now are doing these resin, instead of it being like colour 3D colour printed, these are now 3D printed colour. And then obviously been printed afterwards and stuff like that. We obviously see the big one is obviously the first one I've seen is the one for the Hind, isn't it? Where it's got the resin sort of 3D printed look to it, and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's an interesting new way of doing it that these companies are going along with, and doing it literally like that. And as I say, you get the seat belts with it, but again, never used one before. Just thought it'd be interesting to get one in to have a look at.
Nice little package though. You at least get, like say, with the seat belts and that. That's probably what you need for a cockpit in 48, really, don't you? Because
that's it. You don't really need any more, do you?
You see a lot else.
And again, if you're like me and like as you say, when you're trying to put decals on this type of thing, it's never going to be a good shout. And then obviously hand painting and stuff like that, you're never going to get that level of detail in there, not unless you are fantastic, with one hair on your bristle. So and I know a lot of people say it's cheating and this, that, and the other, but I think it's actually a really very nice touch on that one.
It's the future, because there's going to be a lot more of that with the 3D printing. Obviously,
that's the thing. I think with all they call like rapid prototyping now and stuff like that. I think that these will probably be the way forward. But it's quite a thick piece. It's not thin. No. I quite like it. The detail looks very nice. That's the first time I've seen it out of the packet, and the gloss work on the dials looks nice. It looks realistic. It doesn't look too glossy. It just looks like it's got some glass in there, so it's got a reflection to it. So again, quite a nice little touch.
Yeah.
So there's that one, and the other one we've got is, because you might be guessing what I might be building soon, is I've got one of these in as well, purely to have a look at. So this is the 48 scale resin engine, and it's in their new packaging now, so it's in a box. Instead of the normal way. It's still just sort of thrown in here though, unfortunately, but you can see how much you get in these. So you get quite a lot going in. So obviously we've got a little bit of photo etch for it. We've got all the cowls, and again I was going to draw everyone's attention to how thin these are, because I think it's almost, as you can probably see, transparent. It's that thin with the details that are in there.
That's nice.
Very, very nice.
That is nice. Yeah.
Again, it's just, obviously I don't know how well it's picking up on camera. We just go.
I can see the ribbon.
You say you got the ribbon. We got all the riveting in there as well, but that ribbon, with the riveting on the inside,
be a shame to paint that.
It would be, absolutely. It's one of those, but the thinness just shows through when you can see daylight through it. It's incredibly thin. Also, there's no weight to that whatsoever. But one thing I was going to mention was, obviously, this is that new way that they're doing these, because you can see all the framework in amongst all of this. Get some of these parts out of how it's. I know it's resin, but it's almost like it's 3D printed first, and it's cast from a 3D print, because the way that they've done these is very reminiscent to Andy's 3D printing. It's got the framework all in it. Yeah,
it is actually. I wonder if it is 3D printed. I wonder if it is done that. And then, like I say, it's cast. It makes sense, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So,
Perfect
but again,
sense.
I saw this the other day, obviously, when it came in, and I thought I'd show it, because again, I think that's some of the finest casting, and obviously I think it's off a 3D print originally and then cast from that, but beautifully done. Incredible detail. And then just to show you the last bit, which will obviously be the engine, the engine block as well. I just wish they would actually put some decent packaging in to protect it, 'cause I'm amazed it's in one bit. But there's that gorgeous engine. And again, we often talk about, obviously, detail and various things. Well, you know, that takes it to a whole new level, because obviously I've worked on the 24th scale Typhoon and things like that. But
Mate, I've got a delivery.
all right, okay.
You carry on.
I'll carry on. You do your delivery. So again, this is a little bit of a project that I might have coming up with the Tempest later on in the year. So I've got these parts in, but I thought I'd show them on here. So if you're ever thinking about, you know, obviously what we were talking about, which was taking a bog standard weekend edition kit and just throw a couple of pieces at it. So if you haven't seen it, I did the review of the Tempest. If I just go back to reviews on here, you will see down in here, this is the one that I got in, is this review here. And in this, on the back of the thing, you can see all about it. And we were talking about, obviously, weekend edition. You know, it's very, very cheap kit in the great scheme of it, and there's no frill, so you get nothing with it at all. But if you wanted to, you could pop the engine in the front now, and obviously I've got the instrument panel for it. So from that point of view, I was just thinking it's one of those where you could have a kit, have it in your stash for a while, and then later on you think, do you know what, I'm going to do a better job or upgrade, and you can just throw a couple of bits at it. So literally, I just got the instrument panel. I've got a gear set for it as well, and that's it really. So again, there's that one, and I've got this little guy in for it as well. So one of the trouble with the Tempest and obviously with the Typhoon is the gear, because it's very gangly, and so this is what I've done with all of mine. I've just upgraded them to the brass ones. So we've got the brass ones in for it as well. So again, just a nice way of generally doing those ones. So yes.
Lovely.
Oh, you back? Sorry, I didn't want to go on in case you weren't back. I was keeping us on this camera.
I don't know what he's doing because he's not here yet, but I think I should actually have a delivery. He's gone next door, so I'm not 100%. So Leslie's keeping an eye out anyway, so that's all right. Hey, I tell you what, just going back to that, it'd be a shame to actually plumb the engine into the aircraft. It'd look better on a stand or something.
It's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, I did actually was thinking about maybe having it with just it off. And as I say, you could have it on a little winch, just have it hanging or something else like that. Because it does seem a crying shame, because again, once you put it in there, even if you've got some of the mounts and stuff, you're going to hide a lot of that detail. But there's a lot of stuff into this one. And we were talking about obviously going to the whole hog, but I think it's just nice some ways that if you wanted to, like we've done with this, is that you can just go out and buy quite a relatively cheap kit like the weekend editions, which aren't going to bust the bank. And also, it's still better than the Royal version, because even if you went for the Royal version, that kit doesn't come with an engine.
No.
So, you're still into that one. But again, it does look very, very nice. So, just a little project that may be coming up in the near future, possibly, ish, along with everything else I do.
Yeah, I was going to say, another one to the list.
Another one on my massive list of stuff that's going on at the moment. So, but interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Just out of interest, I know we can't sell them because we can't get hold of them yet, but we are planning on it. I have had in these. Shall I be flashy?
Yeah, go on, be flashy.
Okay, these aren't mine. I'd just like to add, they're a friend of ours, of the show, John. He has got a connection with Kitty Hawk, funnily enough. So we got these in as well. So what we're going to try and do, me and Matt are going to try and get them in. The trouble we've got is we are bound by the UK distributor. So we're very limited on what they get and if they ever get it, and it seems to be a problem. But we are going to try and get some of these in, because we were saying, I know obviously followers of us will know we do take the mick out of Kitty Hawk kits because they can have schoolboy errors, let's put it that way, just with their actual stuff, but at the end of the day they do some fantastically interesting subjects, and these are beautiful. These are absolutely fantastic. We've obviously always wanted a nice Seahawk, and then obviously now we're being sport to death by having it in this scale as well, in 1/35 scale. And again, the markings that they come with are absolutely beautiful. They got some fantastic markings in here with all the rest of it. So again, it's just such a shame that we really struggle to get them in. If we get them in, we just get a handful and they go out the same day. We're trying to find...
And it's not something we can really put on pre-order, because we don't know when we're getting them. It could be it could be 6 months down the line when they turn up from you seeing it. Even if we say, all right, well, we'll put it on pre-order and we'll get whatever. We can't, because obviously, like, we don't know when we will see them.
No,
and then it's that case of, have you got any news on the Seahawk? Have you got any news on this? And it's like, no. So it'd be like every Wednesday we'll be coming on here and going, not here yet. No, it's a bit like tornado scenario.
It is, and that is the trouble. Is, say, with the Black Hawk, when I did it last time, it was obviously I got through John the pre-production one, and it came with a Medal of Honor. It came with all the figures, and I didn't know it wasn't going to come like this. So I just did the review of it, put it out there. To be honest, we had them on pre-order with our supplier as well, and that was it. They just never showed up. And we got people chasing us all the time saying, when we could get it. When they did rack up, the handful we did have didn't come with the Medal of Honor, didn't come with the figures, because at some point they changed their mind, which was a good thing, because the Medal of Honor was possibly the most cringiest thing I think I've ever found in a model kit. It was tacky a piece of tin in it of the Medal of Honor in a case, and it's like,
it's just not right. No,
it's not the thing you do. So anyway, that's why I never even showed it in the review, because I just thought it was horrible. It was just as you say, people work very hard for these things, and to get a tin version of it chucked in a model kit, I thought was just very disrespectful to the recipients of the Medal of Honor who do get them. So it is a bit degrading, really. But anyway, that's the thing. But we will try and get them. I will do the reviews of these, obviously, coming up in the next week or so, along with all the other stuff. But again, don't bombard us, because we don't know, and that's the thing. Unfortunately, we are trying to sort of source a place of getting them reliably, but at the moment, it's just one of those things. We ask, we don't hear anything. We're sort of bound. That's the trouble with it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? So
it is at the end of the day.
So here's a couple of questions we've got.
Yes. So, on the question front, where are we? Hold on, I've lost my thing. Okay, so do we have an ETA for the Hong Kong models Lancaster nose kit, please?
Unfortunately not. I don't. I've got no information until literally the Eternal. It's one of them. Yeah. Obviously, it is out. Well,
it is, because one of our members has done a review on it and all the rest of it, and he's in Australia. So they are out. It's still
very quiet around the interweb, shall we say, about it. So
yeah,
when they're here, you'll know. It'll get mentioned, and usual stuff that I say when we've got a pre-order going, that you'll know about it.
Yeah, as soon as we know, we'll obviously pass it on. But again, this is the thing. I know a lot of people say about us knowing stuff, as I said before. I say it because I always get bombarded by questions after we do the show. If I know it and it's a reliable source, we'll tell you. If I don't know, I won't say. And again, I know, because I get people telling me all the time after doing these shows, oh, such and such said it's due out on Tuesday. And it's like, is it? That's not what I've heard. So, and again, I don't go around on false whips and stuff like that. So if we've got reliable information, obviously we'll pass it on to you guys.
Yeah.
Dave's done a question about painting. To be honest, I'm going to defer this over till tomorrow night's live show with the guys, because it's more about modelling. And we are modelling, I know, but this is more about the kit side of it and stuff like that. And you will get a far better, sensible answer out of the other guys than you will us. So Matthew says, hi Phil and Matt, I've got the Farewell Tornado on pre-order with yourselves. My question is, I have a different email address on flooring models and PM models. Will this be a problem paying for your model?
As long as, I shouldn't have thought so, because it goes through your PayPal anyway.
Yes.
So it's your PayPal account. You'll get sent an invoice. Andy will send you an invoice through your PayPal account. So as long as that, if it is, or you think it's going to be a problem, send Andy a PM.
Yes.
Just to, with the details that you want to invoice it to.
Yeah, what normally happens, it's a bit like the auction, like on Sunday night and things like that. The guys use the email address that you use for the forum, because it's easy to get, because they just click on your name, you see. It's got your email address. Don't worry, only the mods can see your email address. And then they can just copy and paste that into an email or your invoice out to you, and that's normally what they use for it. But as long as you've got access to both emails, don't worry about it. Or if you want to change your email address on the forum or something else like that, just shoot me a message. I'll change it for you, because sometimes if you do it, the site has a bit of a benny about it. And stuff like that. Ian says, any news on the Airfix Beauforts when they're coming in?
December.
We have been told
everything's
December.
Been put back. I had an email about it, like I said, with the Sea Vixen being cancelled, and the Vulcan's going to be March next year. Everything's been put back because of obviously what's gone off this year. So the date is December.
Yes.
Whether that will happen,
Yes.
we will see. But yeah, a lot of the new releases, all that sort of stuff will be December. November, December, and I'm sure that one was a December one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So fingers crossed.
Fingers
They'll get
crossed.
it out in on time, because like I say, we've it's been a bit obviously short from releases from AFX. It's been a bit dribs and drabs, but obviously it's not really their fault. There's not a lot.
No, that's it.
Obviously they've missed slots, or the factory's been shut down, or whatever, because of obviously the.
Well, the thing is, like when we actually did an interview with AFX a couple of months ago, you probably saw the show on it, and like they were saying that their slots for production have all gone out the window, so they're sort of rebooking slots and stuff.
Yeah.
So they did say to us at the time we wouldn't probably expect that things are going to get pushed back, but they didn't know themselves at that point but now we've been told. So yeah, things are still coming, just a little bit longer, which we would say sometimes isn't a bad thing, because it irons out little creases and problems, perhaps gives them a little bit more wiggle room and to sort things out and get things fixed. Don't they, Kitty Hawk? Just saying.
Yeah. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint. Take a little bit more time with your kits, and Anyway,
you won't have bad feedback.
No, that's. Don't get me started on that. Otherwise, I'll start on decals from Edard.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh God, no, leave that.
I'll leave that for a totally different show. So
different. Just actually, while we're on, and while I remember, airbrushes.
yes,
We've made a decision on airbrushes. I've had a few emails about parts and airbrushes and stuff. We're going to discontinue for the time being selling them. Okay, and it's more to do with probably supply and demand.
yes. You want them,
so
we can't get them.
Basically, it is that. And so I'll say it for now. We're not going to probably sell them in the future, but for now we are going to take that bit off the site, and we are not going to be dealing with airbrushes. There's other companies that do it a lot better than I can do it here for a start. And we're going to leave it to them for the time being.
Yes.
So
yeah, a lot of the trouble we've got, guys, is that we've got literally hundreds at one point of people wanting airbrushes and stuff like that. We put in orders, but because obviously of supply chain, especially obviously with the COVID problem and stuff like that, we might have 2 turn up, and it's like that's no good whatsoever for us. If we need them, we need lots of them. And then obviously there's the thing about with spares. And the sort of aftermarket side that goes with it. Well, we're not particularly geared up for doing that. We had a very short selection of like needles and nozzles, but people wanting the more technical side of it, we don't know it well enough to be able to give a proper opinion.
I mean, we know an airbrush, but again,
you know your market. If somebody's into airbrushes, they know what they're talking about. We obviously don't want to give you the wrong information, so we need, from our point of view and a company point of view, to do our homework on it a lot more. So we can give you better information back as well. And obviously there is companies out there, I could list them, but they're not paying me, so I won't. Do it very, very well, and they know the product, so they can say to you, you've got this and this, and they can go, oh, you need this part, and they know the part numbers off the top of the head, and they've got them in stock and got bins of them and can get the part straight out you straight away, where we would obviously have to look it up, find out all the information, order the part. It comes in from probably where you could get it from direct as well and stuff like that. What we would like to do is to be in a position to have all of that knowledge and all of the parts and ready to go in one, and we're not there yet. So for the moment we are going to just discontinue them. Again, in the future, once we have got it sorted, then obviously if they do make a return back to us and everything else, then obviously we'll tell you all about it, but we'll be in a lot better position. I was about
to say we're going to do a lot more obviously replanning of how we're going to do it when we redo it. So
if we're going to do it, you know us, and we are always very honest with you guys. If we do things, we want it to be right. We don't want to do this half-hearted. We're not selling out of our back room or anything else like that. If we do things, we commit to it. We make sure we do it right, so we can give you the best possible customer service at the end of the day and get the bits out to you. It's a bit like, people often. I had somebody ask me about a particular manufacturing something the other day, and it's like I don't really want to go down that route because their customer service is crap. So it's a bit like getting replacement parts and stuff like that. It's very, very difficult to do it. So that's why we don't tend to carry those parts and things like it. And it is the same like we were saying with Kitty Hawk. You know, it's very, very difficult for us to do Kitty Hawk and various things because we can't get it. And it's frustrating because you guys want it, we want it, we just can't get it in the quantities we want it. So that's why we don't keep tons of it, you know, and we don't push it very hard and stuff like that because we can't do much about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said.
Yes. Cool. Right. Is that us done for today then? That's
it. Yep. That's all done.
Very nice. That's your hour. Right.
Yeah.
You can only have an hour because otherwise I've put another 50p in the meter.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. The alarm goes off. And we've made it without a single delivery coming in from me or you. So that's good.
I've had one.
Oh, yeah. You had the one whilst I was doing my thing. Yeah. You're okay. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us today. As you say, if you've got any questions, please feel free to post them up in the forum and we'll answer them as we can on there. Don't forget, Matt is on. Are you on tomorrow? Or are you off?
No.
B team tomorrow, is it?
B team tomorrow.
B team tomorrow.
The reserves are on tomorrow.
Okay, the reserves are on. Although you might be able to find Matt in the chat room as well, in the live chat room. He'll probably be hovering in there as well. So if you want to join us tomorrow night, that'd be absolutely lovely. We'll be on with you live at 7:30, and then obviously we've got all the reviews and the bits and pieces will be making their way up as and when I can possibly get them done. Which hopefully I'll get another one done today. Definitely get them done tomorrow and Friday, and then through the weekend and onward as always. So if that's us done, then Matt. Nothing else? We're all cool. Right, thank you very much for joining us today. Happy modelling. Take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.